Hey guys, Michael from GG here. Today we are going over 5 tips that Madden pros do that casuals don't. Tip number 1 is all Madden pros have a goal line offensive mini scheme. It's just getting, especially Madden 23 guys, with how offensive this game is, it is very important to turn 3s into 7s with having a very unstoppable or high-powered goal line scheme. So right here, what I like to do is come out and single back wing tight and put my tight end here at receiver. I'm going to come out and I'm going to call stretch. And we're going to go against the goal line formation right here. What I'm going to do right here is verse goal line. If I get this look, I'm doing this. Boom. And I'm going to chuck it to Pete. Pete, who is my tight end here, has red zone threat, right? So with goal line, obviously, there's going to be a one-on-one opportunity because of the goal line formation that they're in on defense. And what I like to do to exploit that is throwing it to my red zone threat because of how high percentage it is. He is going to teabag him every single play, and it is very, very hard to stop, guys. Like, it's hard to guard both that as well as the run. This stretch, guys, also is a great run versus goal line. Boom. You guys see the blocking. A.J. Dillon is untouched into the end zone. I'll show it to you again, but you get the idea. The stretch here is great. It's another reason why I love this wing tight. Like, the blocking here is absolutely fantastic. So now we have the one-on-one to Pete, which makes him not really able to run commit. We have the stretch right that has been absolutely dominant with elite blocking. And worst case scenario, let's say they come out now in nickel to counter maybe that stretch, right? Or so they could double team that solo receiver. What we can do is we can audible now down to power O or goal line. So like we can do QB sneak, power O, etc. One thing I like versus 2, or if they have 4 down linemen, I love QB sneak. QB sneak versus set will get you a couple yards every time. Granted, no, we're not in the end zone there, but like Herbert is getting 2 free yards. Now, if you're on like the 1 yard line instead of maybe the 2.5 yard line, you're going to fall forward here for a touchdown every time. Like you see, he gets a great fall forward there. It's hard to blow that up. QB sneak is another great run to have. Another good run, too, I like from goal line, guys, is power O on its audible down. So once we have QB sneak, we have power O here. Both are going to be great runs that we can have. Like, as you can see, the blocking is great. It's all about just having the right run vision and then letting the block set up. You run it to power O to the right or to the left. I'll show it to you to the right here. But it's a great run to have to mix in with QB sneak on this goal line. But again, the whole idea here, guys, is just to have some runs on the goal line that you can trust that are not going to get blown up. And then if they do a good job versus the run, we have that one emergency pass play here, which is going to be really just a high percentage play in the goal line. It's not crazy. It's just this one-on-one. We're going to trust our red zone threat to make a play, and we're just going to teabag a guy. Tip number 2 that pros do that casuals don't is time management or clock management. Now, there are so many ways to break down clock management, guys. One thing I always like having in an offense, let's say in the situation, right? I'm on my own 30-yard line. I'm up to or down to. I want to have the ball last. Let's say there's 3 minutes left to go. It's just about having the ball last or getting the most possessions than your opponent. So what I love doing when I'm clocking somebody is I like having a go-to run. This inside zone from tight slots is not bad. I just double team the D-tackle, and I let A.J. Dillon just go to work. So also another reason why I like Wi-Fi, because sometimes, let's say if it's a first down, second and short, third and short, whatever, you need a run to keep the clock moving. It takes 30 seconds off the play clock and makes sense to use a timeout, etc. So like right here, I think it's important to have a good run that's very hard to shoot because it will clock your opponent. Another thing you guys are going to want to do to maybe help clock your opponent is, let's say I do pass the ball, right? I throw this mess post out here over the middle. I'm going to run backwards. The reason why is this. In order to clock your opponent easier and to get that ball last and to not let your opponent get the ball back, you're going to want to give yourself as much yards as possible to kill the clock. So, like, if you do have to pass the ball, which is fine, we're going to catch the ball and we're just going to run backwards here. We're not going to want any extra rack in certain situations because that way you can use those extra yards that maybe that you wouldn't get on a rack to run the ball and to keep taking more time off the clock. So, again, it's the pass now we're really worried about. We're just worried about the idea of just running backwards to kill clock. Another thing people like to do is like onside kicking to guarantee getting the ball back. Let's say there's like 4 minutes left to go. You just score. You don't want your opponent to get the ball last, so therefore you onside kick to give them less yardage to clock you. It's just simple things like that, guys. But the key really to clocking somebody is having a good run that you can go to that's hard to blow up, that maybe gets 3-4 yards at a time, like this inside zone, for example. It might only get me 4, 5, 6 yards. That's fine with me because I need to get rid of this clock, and I need to not allow my opponent to get the ball back. So the idea of staying in bounds, running the ball, and not taking extra yardage is what will help you clock your opponent and could be the difference between you winning and losing games. The third tip I want to go over here, guys, is pocket presence. So the key here is that you want to be able to do this every play if you have to. It's the idea of giving yourself enough time to either A, take off the quarterback, or B, give yourself a throw that you might not be able to make. That's something that pros do all the time that casuals do not. It's the idea of you might have the right route combo versus the right defense. However, if you don't have enough time to throw the ball because it's a bad pocket, it really just won't matter. Like, I step up in the pocket, I'm just gonna make my read, etc. But it gives you more time to make reads and to throw dots. It gives you time to take off the quarterback, something that you might not be able to do if you don't have good pocket. So right here I'm stepping up, boom, taking off the quarterback, taking my 5, 6, 7 yards and moving on. And one thing that helps me do this is I will spam the left trigger when I snap the ball. So boom, I'm snapping the ball, I'm pressing the left trigger. What this will do is it will cancel the drop back, guys, and it will allow me to make my first step up in the pocket instead of my first step be back in the pocket. Especially versus blitzes like Dollar, where they have edge heat. Both slot corners here are blitzing off the edge. Because there's edge pressure, I want to step up in the pocket to avoid them getting home quicker. I'm stepping up, boom, and I get a nice little pocket for myself, and I'm taking off with Justin Herbert. Like, you guys have seen this, like, every play, I am getting myself 4 or 5 yards. It doesn't look that crazy, but it makes the defense really have to struggle with that. They start doing weird stuff, maybe put in the QB spy, maybe take away the quarterback themselves, etc. They have to do something weird to counter that. And I don't even have to do that all the time. I can take my check down here, I can throw, but see, like that corner out, for example, that I just threw, that might not be a ball that I can throw if I don't have a good pocket, right? That's a ball that needs a little bit of time to develop, but because I have good pocket presence right there, I can throw the corner out, you know? Boom. Like, this is a ball that I might not be able to throw if I don't have good pocket presence. So pocket presence allows you to take over the quarterback, which is an option that you might have not had before, and it allows you to throw passes that take a little more time, like that corner route versus cover 2. Now that we've gone over some offensive things, let's get to some defensive things that pros do that casuals don't. First thing is having tells or not having tells when you are blitzing. I see way too many people who are casuals who will create tells when they are blitzing and not blitzing. This allows the offense to know basically what the defense is doing off rip. Like, it is super important, guys, to mix in your coverage and blitz defense with no tells whatsoever. So I'm going to run Dollar here, baseline press. This is a very popular defense to run. And what I'm going to do is, like, here's the thing, right? I'm pressing, and that's it, guys. So, like, you can't tell if I'm setting 5 or setting 3. I might do something like, I might play a little coverage right here, but, like, you see how my defense has not changed at all? I'm setting, like, my setting 5 and setting looks exactly. I'm not moving guys around when I'm blitzing or not blitzing. I'm not making my guys, I'm not manipulating any of my players to create tells based on whether or not I am setting 5 or setting 3. This makes the opponent on offense have to completely guess what I am doing. And I think it's also important to have a defense that allows you to do both. Dollar allows me to play coverage, and it allows me to blitz whenever I want. And that makes the opponent have to respect both. I'm going to show you the blitz version of this, right? So, like, let's say I think that they're sending their running back out, right? I'm going to blitz 5, so I instantly scream. Boom. Nothing's open, and I just instantly scream at the quarterback, right? So let's say, guys, to counter the 7-5 blitz, they start blocking their running back, right? Or they start adding more people in pass protection to pick this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix in a send 3. So once they snap the ball, they're going to block the running back, but I'm actually only going to send 3. They're only going to have 4 receivers route. I'm going to have 8 people in coverage. Therefore, the plays can get bagged. They throw it right at me. It's incomplete. I'll show you guys here again. But the main key, guys, with this is the fact that you want to be able to play coverage or send a blitz without your opponent knowing. And way too many casuals do not do this. And pros do a great job at mixing in their coverages with the blitz with 0 tells. If you do this on defense, it will make your opponent have to guess a lot more, and you'll be way more successful. The last thing I want to go over with you guys is having a good user. What I mean by that is this. Right here with this defense, I am calling cover 2 with double maple is what is a popular term for it, where I have soft squats that are in 25-yard zone drops that guard a deep part of the field. I have curl flats in 5 yard zone drop set guard underneath the sidelines. Because I have these zones on each side of the field that will do a great job guarding the sidelines, my user should be nowhere near the sidelines. My responsibility is anything that splits this cover 2 and my rear hook. But let's say I have a bad user and I guard the sidelines for no reason, right? You see right here how I give up this vert hook, or excuse me, this hitch that goes for a big play? That I had great adjustments out there for the play that's being called, but because my user is in no man's land, I give up a big play. But let's say instead now I have a good user and I take this away, right? Boom, I'm here, I take it away, nothing's open, and they have to throw some shit and everything is caged. But it's just the idea of one play they get 15 yards because of a bad user, another play they get nothing because my user is where he is supposed to be. If you guys enjoyed the video and found something that you can add to your game, searching out GG, where we offer full schemes used at the highest level of Madden. Link to the website in the description and use code GG at checkout for 20% off your next order.